something special today. We're going to be watching an episode of Gilmore Girls live. But I got my headset in, and I'm suggesting you guys queue up your Netflix. You can pause it until you get queued up, but we're going to be watching Season 6, Episode 13, Friday Night's All Right for Fighting. It's going to take me a minute to find it. And for those of you that don't know, my name is Valerie Campbell. I was the key set costumer on Gilmore Girls. Share a lot of fun facts from behind the scenes. And today, we're watching Season 6, Episode 13. Technically, I am live on TikTok, so the comment section that I will be talking from will be from TikTok, and everybody over there is going to watch live with me. I'm trying to get more watch hours over on YouTube, so this will be a replay that you'll be able to replay anytime you want. If you are watching live on TikTok, YouTube right now, you can head over to TikTok for a quick second, head into the chat for TikTok, and I'll be answering questions over there. And later, I'll come and answer questions over here, but you won't be able to chat. And if you'd like to send a sticker or something over on YouTube, I am monetized in that way, but the reason that we're doing this is we want to become monetized over on YouTube. So we're going to be listening. I'll be watching. You won't be able to see it because I don't want to get copyright violations. And as we watch it, we'll be able to, let me cue it up. We'll be able to give you my insight, the commentary that I have when I'm watching the show. I'm going to start and stop the episode randomly. So have your finger on that pause button and get ready on your marks, get set, get ready. On the count of 3, we're going to start the episode. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so Lorelai's entering. This is the bedroom set, which is the rebuilt bedroom set up on stage 18. Luke's in bed. And Lorelai is trying to exit. Oh, this is when they go to the Flower Mart, right? You want to know about the Flower Mart, huh? This is when they've already aren't going to get married, right? So she's trying to sneak out. I can't tell you anything interesting about this scene, so we're not going to pause on anything. Awkward. For those who are just joining, we're watching Season 6, Episode 13 of Gilmore Girls. I got it on my headset. Follow along. Luke just ran into her. This is so awkward. This is probably like the road, feeling lonely and so cold. All you got to do is call my name and I'll be there on the next train where you lead. I will follow anywhere that you tell me to. You need to be with you. I will follow. Oh, if you I will follow. And tell me to. Oh, thank you, Aloma. Aloma likes my singing. Be with you. I will follow where you lead. Okay, pausing it for a quick second. That was the end of the intro. For those of you that are new to my page, probably new to like watching Gilmore Girls, or maybe people that haven't watched Gilmore Girls over and over and over, that very last tiny snippet of the intro takes place in Canada. That's the actual spot of where they shot the original Luke Steiner in Canada. We got a couple questions from the chat on TikTok. Why did they choose the theme song? I don't know. I think they really loved Carole King, and I think they liked the idea of the song, and it worked well for the theme. Random question, but do you still talk to the cast? Yes, I actually spoke to Liz Torres yesterday. I was supposed to speak to her today, but she never called me back. I'll have to call her later, but not tonight. I'll probably have to call her tomorrow. She'll probably call me tomorrow. But I talked to quite a few of the cast. I don't talk to Lauren or Alexis or Scott or Melissa or Yannick. And I've never been an extra. Okay, we're going to continue watching season 6, episode 13, right after the intro. So if you're not queued up, queue yourself up. We're at the Flower Mart. Okay, this part, I'm going to start and stop this a lot because there's a lot of little nitty-gritty things that you don't know. So in the background, there's signs all over. I've just paused it where it says Dale Dickey. Credit for Dale Dickey. I'm not sure who that is. But there's a sign in the very back, upper left-hand corner that says Bobby Greens. That was our Greens person on the show. And there's going to be a couple other signs that are in here. And Bobby Greens was the one responsible for all of the flowers and setting the like leaves and the trees and all of that stuff. Anytime there was greenery, especially living plants, even fake plants, that was Bobby Greens' department. It's not his real name, but that's what it was. Yeah, I was definitely never a background on the show. Some crew people were. Was the scene at a set or a real place? Fun fact. The Flower Mart was filmed directly behind Luke Steiner. There's an alleyway. So it's just outside. And I remember the day that we filmed this, and they were like scrambling those little green pieces of tape. It's just like a flower ticket. It's the ticket to get into the Flower Mart. It's not a mistake, people. It's not a mistake. Hi, I'm Valerie. I worked on Gilmore Girls. Okay, we're playing it again. We're playing it. Part of the fairy. Don't smell the fairy rings. Okay, so there's another sign that's behind Suki right now. I just paused it, and it says Edie's flower bulbs. Edie was one of our transportation drivers on the show. So they will often put crew people, like whenever we're doing like signs and stuff, they'll use the names of the crew people in there because, hey, you know, we're going to get clearance if it's someone on the crew's names. I think there's one other sign that's on there. Okay, just hit play again. And of course, Kenny Ortega, I paused it. Kenny Ortega was the director of this episode. Amazing director. I'm going to plug this phone in real quick. Sorry, I don't want you guys to like no longer work because we don't have power. We're going to plug this up. We've paused it. Did you include your name or anyone close to you? Did they include my name or anyone close to me on set? You mean on the set? I'm sorry, Peach, please. What I was explaining was there were several people's names on the crew that were used as names on the flower shop. I was not one of them. My name, we put my last name on a jersey. I think it was, remember those red baseball jerseys? I had a red baseball jersey that had my name on it, Campbell. And there might have been one that said Manahan because that was my maiden name. But I don't think we ever saw it. Don't think we ever saw it. Okay, and play again. There's Bobby Green's sign again. Now, I think there's another sign. I just paused it. I think there's another sign that says Melanie's Flower Shop. We'll be looking for that one, okay? Luke has a kid. Now, if you're listening, I just paused it again. If you're listening to the show, you're going to hear a lot of voices. Those voices are just, they're recorded after the fact because when we're filming this, everyone is silent. They will actually do a thing called room tone where the sound department will, once we get all the takes, they'll pause and will record what it actually sounds like to be on set. And this is really so that you can, like if there's any machinery or mechanics, they'll lay that as a track over it, and then they will add other layers of people speaking. And this room tone will be the length of time that the scene is. So it'll be a little bit longer than whatever the scene is, so that if there is any weird noises in there, it kind of, they lay it down and it makes everything just sound the same. Okay, we've started again. Jackson has a love child. He had seed. Oh, okay, pausing it. Right in the back, just a little bit to the right, above Suki's head is a sign that says Melanie's Blooms. Melanie was one of our makeup artists. She continued on to the show. She worked, I think she worked a majority of the seasons, but she was the one that won. She was one of the people that won an Emmy for makeup for the Festival of Living Arts. Fun fact. Okay, we're gonna play, hitting play. Hit pause. I don't think you can buy those flowers for $2, can you, anymore? Also, I just want a friendly reminder, if you're in the live, please make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're over on TikTok watching, pop over onto my YouTube for a quick minute, show some support, and then head back over to TikTok. I'm monitoring the chat over on TikTok while we're watching this, and if you're watching this after the fact, thank you so much. I am trying to get more watch hours over on YouTube as well as Facebook. I'm trying to get monetized on YouTube. I need 730 more hours, watch hours, to get 4,000, which will then monetize my videos. And hello, Beltline over on TikTok. We're watching an episode of Gilmore Girls silently. I've got headsets in. We've paused it. We're at the Flower Mart scene. We're watching season 6, episode 13. We're about to hit play again, and you'll get my insights. For those of you joining, my name is Valerie. I worked on Gilmore Girls, and I share a lot of fun facts from behind the scenes. I was in the costume department. I was not the costume designer. I took care of the actors on set. Okay, I love how Lauren is wearing this shirt, like all the way open, chest wide, and the big puffy coat. Like, could it have hurt her to just snap it up a little bit? Like, you're not selling that it's cold outside with the big puffy coat, but then the shirt's all the way open. You're just like, really? One fun thing that we do in the costume department that you may not realize is that whenever we do have an actor that is zipped up, we will tend to pick a spot on a coat that is very prominent for us to visually see. Like, oh, she's zipped up to the pockets. And sometimes when I'm on set, I'll put a little tiny pin or I'll wrap a thread around the zipper placket, not around both of it, just like one side, so that it acts as like a natural stop, so the actors will have a place for them to zip it up to. Okay, we're hitting play again. Maybe. So, okay, paused it again. You can actually see now. Oh my God. Oh my God. That I think is the camera truck, but they've put boxes in front of the camera truck. Okay, I've got it paused and it's right at it says 37:31. It says 6:30. No, it's 6. It's so hard to line it up. It's about 6:20. You could see the Bobby Green sign and you see a truck. That is more than likely the camera truck. But then they've put some boxes in front, so it looks like it's a Flower Mart truck. Okay, we're gonna hit play again. Okay, we're at Yale now. That was some really interesting, oh, she's moving, but she's not paying attention. Okay, all of that snow. Okay, pausing it. All of the snow. We're on stage now. We're on stage 14, and all the snow that's there is fake. It's all like a little bit of powder that's on the trees. It's like they'll spray water and then they'll put this powder on. And then on the ground, it's a mixture of paper powder and a little bit of that like polyfill, but they'll set up and then they wet the ground so it looks like it's wet. Looking at the chat again, I recently saw in a group about Lauren's top being too revealing for the weather. It absolutely is, but you know what? Fashion before freezing, right? Okay, we're playing again. Got the coffee cart. Oh, pause it. So you're going to see some steam that is next to the coffee cart guy. I am not 100% sure. That actually might be a working coffee cart, but more than likely, Special Effects has rigged that coffee cart with something to make it look like there was steam because they know it's cold. And so I think that steam is fake because otherwise, if it was a real coffee machine, we would hear it and we can't hear the noise of the steam. So that's what that steam is. Now, this courtyard area, I just paused it again. It is always the same courtyard. There's only, there's in this area that you have the classroom, then you have the courtyard, and then you have the big auditorium area that serves as a cafeteria, it serves as a library, it serves as any kind of meeting hall. So those 3 areas will be dressed differently every single time that we use that courtyard. Like you'll see that in this particular shot, you got a statue there, but sometimes there's a statue of something else, like the bulldog when they had that other episode. But this area is like, it is always transformed into some other area, but it always kind of looks exactly the same. Playing it again. Now, if you're on set, the bulletin boards and stuff would always be filled with like little tiny Easter eggs of stuff. Like sometimes crew people would put their names up there. Sometimes they would put random weird stuff on the bulletin boards. I don't know if you saw the episode where they go to Harvard. Did you see the bulletin board? Just go ahead and pause it on that Harvard video. You'll be laughing up a storm if you see it. Okay, we're hitting play again. That guy is tall. That background guy. A Fair to Remember. Is that the same? No, wait, Rita Wilson. A Fair to Remember. What's the movie that Kelly Bishop worked on? I don't know. Anyways, we're moving on again. 7:30, can't wait. Eyes on the road. Okay, we're moving to the next scene. Entering Lorelai's house. Paul Anka. All that snow. We're on stage 18 right now filming. Oh, he made a pile of books. How did he even get up that high? Ooh. Okay, so these phone calls, obviously, Ed Herman and Sally Struthers are not off stage. And in fact, Lauren is not actually listening to their voices. She is listening to the voices of the stand-ins who are reading the off-camera dialogue. Off camera. They're literally standing as close as they need to Lauren to be able to read it. And what's funny is like I can hear in my head the voice of Rich, who was Ed Herman's stand-in, also stood in for Luke. He is reading this dialogue, which is crazy. And they probably had Patty or someone else read Emily's off camera. But yeah, they would always have the stand-ins read it. And if there were two different voices, they would have two different people read it because they would want her to be able to react to those voices. Okay, we're hitting play again. She's dialing the phone. Ooh, we're in Rich Man's Shoe. I'm going to pause it real quick. So Rich Man's Shoe was filmed inside the newsstand. Okay, we got a little question from TikTok. We are watching season 6, episode 13. We're watching it live over on YouTube. I'm trying to get more watch hours on YouTube. So if you guys could do me a favor, if you missed something, just watch it tomorrow when this posts, because I need more watch hours. And if I could get 730 of you guys to watch 1 hour of my content, which this will be about an hour, then I could get monetized on YouTube. And that's the goal. We want to get to 4,000 watch hours. Okay. So just do me a favor, watch it tomorrow over on YouTube. Your watch tonight does not count if you're watching live. It only counts if it's watched again. Okay. Hit and play again. Oh, actually, we haven't hit play again. So this is Rich Man's Shoe. It was filmed inside the newsstand, which is where Bootsy worked, which is right next door to Miss Patty's. This location served as many sets. Anytime we had like a small restaurant or coffee shop or inside Taylor's nephew's bedroom in Maine, we also filmed that inside there as well. So, okay. Yep. We are at, about right at the top of that scene, whatever that is, 9 minutes or so. Oh, okay. Pausing it. I don't even know where we're at, but we're at about 9:06, somewhere around there. If you pause it, you're going to see the back of the computer, which has been cleverly obscured, the logo. And the reason that they had to obscure the logos is because we don't want to be advertising something and have that company come in and try to advertise. Because remember, Gilmore Girls was watched on live television, not live television, but it broadcast on television with advertisements. And so you don't want to have like a competing brand. So we would always obscure any brand that wasn't cleared, or if it was something that like maybe Apple wanted to come in and do a commercial, or Microsoft wanted to come in and do a commercial, or Dell, whatever it was, they wanted to always have the ability to be able to advertise. So we'd have to obscure that. Okay, we're hitting play. Yale. Ice Ice Baby. Okay, we're pausing it. So all the background in Rich Man's Shoe, they're all faking conversations silently, drinking coffee, not really, just sort of, you know, casually taking fake sips. Is there anything in their cups? Maybe, maybe not, probably not. The food that's on their plates are probably is not going to be touched because if they do touch it, they would have to be married to eating a bite for hours and hours and hours, however long it takes us to film the scene. So, you know, when you're watching the scene, just think of them and the fake conversations that are going on in their brains with people that they don't know. They might be in a conversation with someone that they just got matched up with that day. Okay, hit and play. Oh, there's no photo in the photo section of the Yale Daily News. Oh, this is when she figures out that there's a problem at the Yale Daily News. Interesting. Now, we very rarely did insert shots on Gilmore Girls. So when we did, it was always very, very important. I mean, it's always important when you do an insert shot, but especially on Gilmore Girls. Oh, the numbers. Okay, pausing it. On the computer screens, this is kind of very important. Anytime we see a computer screen, those screens were manipulated by a guy in the art department. Art department, I don't know. Technical, maybe, I think the guy, I don't know if he worked for art department or if he was working for 695. But anyways, there is an entire person that's job is just to make sure the monitors have whatever is supposed to be on them. He's not doing the graphics. He's just displaying it on the computers and making sure that they function. And so it's like the same as if you were watching a television screen. TV screens, it's called video playback, and it would be controlled by a member of 695 in Los Angeles, at least. I know this because my husband is a member of 695, or at least was. He's retired now. Okay, we're hitting play again. But each screen you see will be very specific to whoever is sitting at it. And of course, that character's name is AJ. And fun fact about AJ is there's a girl that worked on the show, and her name is AJ. And so she was one of our ADs on the show. And so that character is named after one of our ADs. We're almost there. Paris is great. Naomi Campbell, I just paused it. Naomi Campbell level hissy fits. She must have done something around that time. I don't remember. Does anyone remember what Naomi Campbell did around that time in 2005? And we would have this would have been filmed, by the way, this episode 13 would have been filmed like December in 2005. That's when we filmed it. I don't know. Do some research, figure it out. Okay, we're hitting play again. Okay, pausing it very quickly before Paris walks away. Rory's wearing a scarf that is very unusual. And one thing I remember about this scarf, it was like gray felted, and it had those circles that are on it were painted. They were hand painted. So it was made by some artisan, but it was so weird because you couldn't fold it or move it. The painted part had to lie flat, which was like the most unusual scarf. And I just remember always like, it was pretty, but like fighting with it all the time to make it like look like she was using it. Pausing, playing it now. Oh, pausing it. Okay, so we see in this shot, okay, we are at 31:44 elapsed, 12:06, give or take, seconds. We are seeing the background of this set. Now, one thing to know about, so we see the wall, we see the window, and that wall that has like newspaper all over it, that wall would lift up to the sky. So they had it on pulleys and they could lift it, that entire wall, all the way up, so that whenever we were shooting a scene in that room, they could get equipment in or out, but they could also put the camera on the other side of that wall whenever we needed to get a big wide master shot of that room. So I always loved the way they designed that set because it was so versatile, so much easier to film on stage 14 versus in Lorelai's house where there was no walls that lifted up. Oh, we haven't gotten there. We're not at Paris's office yet, but we will be there soon. Oh, there she is. We're at the Paris's office, which is hysterical. I did a TikTok about this one. Sheila, Joni. All right. Okay, pausing it. So Sheila, the character Sheila, she was named after one of our writers on the show. So fun fact. I mean, I don't think she worked this season. She worked the first like 3 seasons, I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 4. Okay, we're hitting play. Oh, that door. She's like throwing the paper, ripping. Okay, pausing it real quick. We're already on Lauren dialing the phone, but the door in Paris's office. Did you notice? It's a bathroom stall door. Like where? Okay, first, where the hell did she get all that stuff? Like, where did she get how did she make this? I have so many questions. Okay, we're in Lorelai's kitchen. She's dialing the phone. She's got the hot chocolate. I'm pressing play. Grandpa's answering it. Mom's answering. Everybody's answering. Pausing it. Guys, for those of you that are like really, really, really young, back when I was a kid, if you called a phone, especially a corded phone, if you called a phone, even a phone that was not cordless, if there were multiple phones in that house, you were calling all of them at the same time and everyone could pick up. Has anyone experienced this? Has anyone not experienced this? Is anyone like confused by this? Uh, I don't know. It makes me feel old, doesn't it? 25 years ago. It's crazy to think that like most people do not have phones in their house. They just have the cell phone, right? Good times, right? I remember a time where when you called the person up, we didn't have answering machines. I don't even know how we did it back then. I remember like we'd go on a little, we'd go visit our grandma or something, and we'd come home and we'd drive home from our grandma's house. And my mom would call my grandma. Now, long distance wasn't even long distance. It was just like maybe, the next county over. She'd call her and she'd call her and she'd make the phone ring like twice. And that was her little signal that, hey, we made it home. She rang twice and she hung up. Oh, you jealous? You wish you didn't grow up with iPhones. It ruins everything. It's crazy to think of like how different life is now versus how it was. Like that's a relic. That phone is a relic. The experience of picking up the phone quietly and listening in when someone's having a conversation and getting to hear, like, can't do that now. Can't do that now. It was simpler, but also people were devious. They could hear your conversations. Okay, we're hitting play. This is the most awkward conversations. Christopher Isherwood. Pausing it. Is there someone named Christopher Isherwood? Is that a real person? Let's see. I'm going to do a little research. There is. Christopher Isherwood, American novelist and playwright. What's interesting is watching it now versus working on it back then, in the age before Google was like the thing that everybody was using, is that we didn't have access unless you knew who that was, which Amy was so well read. She knew everything. And also the writers that worked with her would know a lot of stuff. So Christopher Isherwood was an American novelist and playwright. He did Berlin Stories, a Single Man novel, Don Christopher and his gift. So yeah, interesting. There's always some kind of little Easter egg hidden in the dialogue, isn't there? Okay, we're getting hit and play again. Hit and play. Whoops, there we go. The attention to details is incredible. Oh, she just slammed the phone. Okay, pausing it for a quick second. We are 14:05, give or take. It's so hard to like hover. It doesn't tell you exactly. We're around 14:05. Richard is on the phone. He's tapping his pencil upside down. Emily just hung up the phone. What I'm going to try to do instead of saying, hey, I'm pausing, you're going to hear the click. And you're going to hear the click to start again. And then what I will do is I will literally say whatever quote someone is saying at the same time. That might actually be easier. Clicking. Wanted to do anything for Rory. He wants to contribute. This is a good thing. Okay, that's where we're at. Okay, pausing it. Genuine Morton's chocolate syrup. Now, generally on the show, they did not put the labels that forward. Like that is so perfectly straight, that label. It's almost kind of annoying because it just doesn't look natural to camera. I don't know why they didn't just cheat it even a little bit. But I wonder, I haven't watched this episode in a long time. I haven't worked on this episode in a very long time. I'm curious, is something going to happen to that chocolate sauce? Okay, we're hitting play. What is that thing behind Lorelai? That's a teapot. The pig The little piggy with the red clown hat is a teapot. I don't know what the brand is, but it's probably very specific. And then what else is on? Let's see. What does she have on that plate? That's the bigger question. I'm making this really big. Is that marshmallows and chocolate sauce? Did she pour chocolate sauce in her bag of marshmallows? And then, is that what's going on? Because they almost look like mushrooms. But, I mean, obviously they're not mushrooms. That is so weird. Is she just eating a bag of chocolate-covered marshmallows with chocolate sauce? That is so weird. Is that weird? Oh my God. Hello, Andy. Thank you for the heart puff. It's like a lettuce bag. Yeah, it is like the lettuce bag. That is so weird. I'm watching live on TikTok and YouTube, guys. I'm watching live on TikTok and YouTube. Thank you, Andy, for that. And welcome, Aloma. I saw you pop in while I was talking. And hello, Ellie, and anyone that's over here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm trying to get more watch hours over on YouTube, so we're watching an episode of Gilmore Girls live at random on a random Thursday night. But I need more watch hours on YouTube so I can monetize. Because, yeah, I haven't been working, so this will work. We need 730 more hours, so come watch this live. Don't watch it live. Watch this later. Watch it later. Is Rory wearing the same bow sweater in episode 11, season 5, and season 1, episode 6? Probably. She probably is. We, if that whole scene where she, season 5, episode 11 is where she goes to court, right? Is that it? Is that the bow sweater you're talking about? Right now we're doing something else right now. But if you can do me a favor, if you guys ever have a question about Gilmore Girls, leave it in the comment section, preferably over on TikTok, where I can add it to my favorites and I can look at that thing. And then I will figure it out. You just found it for sale. The Morton's, the chocolate sauce. I didn't know that was a real brand. That looks like a fake brand to me. Okay, we're hitting play again. No. Okay. The cookie jar. Oh, the teapot is actually a cookie jar. Okay. If it'll make you feel any better, the odds are 2 of them at least truly deserve it. Okay, they're pausing it. We are now in the cafeteria at Yale. And I actually have a fun story about the pictures that are behind the girls. There's portraits throughout Yale. And what's fun and interesting about it is at one point in time, our what do you call it? He was our scenic artist slash sign painter. He was part of the art department. His name is Casey Kassemeyer. And he approached me and he was like, Val, I need your help. I'm really worried that we need to change out these portraits that are in the background at Yale. And I want to take pictures of all the guys on the show. And so he was going to paint pictures. He was going to paint their pictures into these pictures at Yale and kind of replace them out, kind of as an Easter egg, but also mostly just so that they could have the artwork and not worry that it wasn't copyrighted. I don't know. They ended up not doing it, but I took pictures of all the guys and we photoshopped them into the best pictures. And every time I see the pictures hanging, that's what I think of. Okay, we're hitting play again. We are at 14:51. Please watch the rest of this another day if you are not over on YouTube. I appreciate you. Good night, Ellie, but don't leave here. If you're here, keep watching. Okay, we're hitting play. See. So typical. Kid grows up. Pausing it. That hat that Lorelai's wearing, I am not 100% certain. But Brenda would get very creative all the time and she would make things. It's possible that she made that, or it's also possible they bought it at a cool, cute little boutique. But Brenda would like knit stuff up, like a storm. She would knit all the time. Where was this scene filmed when they were standing by the coffee cart? It is filmed on stage 14. Stage 14 in, which is where we had Yale. Remember when I said that that we would use that courtyard? Well, I bet the courtyard's going to look a little bit different than we saw it the last time when it had the statue, right? Yeah. This was a really big stage. And yeah, it's a different courtyard now. Different coffee maker too. At least I think it is. It could also be the same coffee maker. I also loved the scarf that Alexis wears, the white lace crochet one. Look, they got the bike rack there. And pausing it, on the other side, you'll see windows. That's like right behind the coffee cart. That's where Yale Daily News was. And that side of the set was all the classroom scenes. So they would take one classroom in the middle and then they would build out onto the sides. So they had just this one giant classroom. It was awesome. Okay, reading play. Solemn, quiet, sad. It was a huge success. We hear the bell in the background. That's interesting. Mozart, mind games, good times. Okay, pausing it. We have now flipped a corner. That is so funny. So they were standing, they got this way, then they're now walking towards where the dorm rooms are. What's interesting about it is that whole space was very, very tiny. But Yale, I mean, so they have the courtyard part goes like this, and then they get to where they're at now, which is this way, and they come into where Rory's dorm room was. But basically, that whole set was pretty big, but it was recycled for every part of Yale that you saw. Not every part, but for the majority, a lot of the parts of Yale was all filmed on that stage. Okay, hit and play again. They're walking out of shot. Okay, we're into the next scene. We're at the Yale Daily News. It's a little bit dim. It's late. The senior editor quit. I quit too. Physically bad. He's devious. You suck, Bill. She's entering. Yeah, that's literally a stall. You love fire exits. No man does that. We're going to pause it real quick. Are we stuck in a commercial? Are you watching side by side, but you're stuck in a commercial? I'm sorry, Gabby. We'll pause for a quick second. And I will point out stuff. So let's see what the headlines say on the back of Paris's thing. We see 9/11 panelists say U.S. at, I'm assuming that says war, maybe, perhaps. Are these real news articles? Probably. They might be. I'm not exactly sure. Depends on if they a lot of times they will mock up newspapers to make them look real. And what's funny, if you've ever seen a mock-up of any kind of thing that is printed out for film and television, they will add the most random stuff. If you were to zoom in on that article, you'll read it and you'll be like, sometimes it'll have something really clever in the beginning, and then it'll just repeat kind of a gibberish statement that'll just kind of like be repeating. It's almost like AI, how AI does random stuff and garbage. Okay, we're hitting play again. 10 to 11 copy editing. Let me see that. What's interesting about those earmuffs, pausing it, is back then, you know how nowadays everybody has those like the ear things, they cover their head and they always have them on. Back then, people didn't, that wasn't like a thing back then, to my knowledge. I don't remember anyone doing that back then. Or maybe because I didn't do it, I was just not aware that people did that. But she putting earmuffs on, warming earmuffs, not isolation headsets that we have nowadays. Just fun fact. But it does have the same effect, doesn't it? Of getting people to get out of your space. Okay, Rory's coming through the door. We are at, we're at just 2021. Right at 2021. Rory is exiting Paris's bunker. Bill is doing his yo-yo, which, fun fact, he learned how to do yo-yo. Blah, blah, blah. He learned how to yo-yo for the scene. We were teaching him how to yo-yo. I took video of him that day. This is true. I took video of him learning how to do the different tricks. I don't know that he was successful in learning how to do those tricks, so therefore all he did was whatever he's doing right now. Hitting play. Just flinging it back and forth because he did not grow up. She's slapping her hands. Listen up. T-shirt. Saggy pants. Okay, I'm pausing it. Okay, remember when I said that when we read the script, we are looking for certain things? Well, because the lines say, you, t-shirt, it wouldn't say, hey, guy in a t-shirt. That was us having to realize that we're reading a thing. She's pointing to a guy, you t-shirt, you saggy pants. So when they would cast those roles or bring those background in to fill those roles, they would send out a note saying, okay, this person is going to be wearing a t-shirt and this person is going to be wearing saggy pants. Now, if that was something that the background person didn't have, we would have a pair of saggy pants or a t-shirt for them to put on for that scene. So whenever you're hearing things like that, a lot of times it is not in the script. It's in the words of the script, but not in the screen direction of the script. Sometimes it's in the screen direction, but mostly it's not. Mostly it's like you're having to read it and you're having to really analyze and break down those moments. And the other day I made a TikTok where I was talking about how the costume breakdowns, I'll eventually post it on YouTube. But in the meantime, when we are making, like, we're reading the script, Brenda, who's the costume designer and the supervisor, she started out as a supervisor and became costume designer. We would both read the script and we would make notes of things that we saw in the script, and we would compare notes and go like, hey, did you get this guy? Or did you get this note? And so those are the kind of things that when we're reading the script, we're looking for those elements to be able to make sure that on the day of, we're not like putting someone in the wrong thing because we're not getting the joke of the line. Okay, hit and play. Rory is talking to the girl in the orange shirt, and the girl in the blue is right in front. We're at, oh, it's like 20, I don't know, 2042, somewhere around there. Come on, people, move. We got a paper to get it out. Okay. Lorelai and Suki enter Lorelai's house. Okay. Pausing it. So they're taking their coats off. And in the script, whenever we have a scene where the actors are doing something with their clothes, we will make notes that, hey, they're going to take off their coats. We need to make sure that they're wearing coats. We need to make sure that when they leave this moment and go into the kitchen or wherever else they're going, that their coats are no longer on. So they'll rehearse it. We'll figure out where they're going to be placing their stuff. That's kind of what we work out during the rehearsals. The other thing I wanted to point out about this particular area is this is the foyer, Lorelai's foyer. And on the left, you're seeing a door. You're seeing a door that they don't use ever. In fact, that door doesn't really have enough space behind it to be able to use. I did a TikTok about this a while back. I don't remember what it's called, but it talks about how that door was basically where I think the closet was supposed to be. Now, unfortunately, because they ended up putting an archway on the other side of this little foyer thing, when they put the archway in, they realized that there's no way that they could play that door was a closet anymore, because if you open that door where the closet's supposed to be, it was literally like this wide. It was just wide enough to fit the door handle. Like, it really, there was nowhere, you couldn't hang anything, you couldn't put anything in there. It was just there for looks, because it is a logical place for them to have the closet. But on the other side, which is where they actually played the closet and the bathroom, which we never saw anybody go into the bathroom, but that's where the bathroom is supposed to be, and that's actually where the closet was. But I think it's because they put the archway in that they were no longer able to play it that this was the same area. That's my thought. That's my theory. And that's what I stick with when we talk about that. Okay, we're hitting play. They're taking off their coats. The first hot hoof massage on the East Coast. Paulinka. Aw. Is this when Paulinka gets sick? No. I keep looking for the shoes, but that's not this episode, right? It's a different episode. What is she grabbing? Um, answering machine. A lot of answering machines in this episode. Awkward. So awkward. La la la. Hello, Kelly Sunny Funny Face. Thank you for the heart me. We got the soda shop. Oh, I have a fun fact coming up. I have a fun fact. Okay, we're pausing. Anytime we shot in the soda shop was always fun because I always love the soda shop. We only had a few of those outfits. And we would sometimes just randomly grab background and be like, you're going to be soda shop because you're going to fit the outfit. Because they would just bring in the most random people to be in the soda shop. I've always thought the artwork in Lorelai's house was so random. We're going to see the scarf that is on Sally Struthers was something I made. I made it. They needed a scarf. I'm like, hey, here, wear my scarf. And that's what she wore. So we're going to see that in a second. We got the big long line. Oh, that sweater. We're seeing April through the window. Okay, so let me look at it really quick. So here's the deal. Remember when I said I made a continuity mistake? Well, this was not just a mistake. This was not really even a continuity mistake. This was a really horrible thing that happened. We are watching season 6, episode 13, and we are watching it live over on YouTube with headsets. And we are at 22:55. We're seeing April through the window of the soda shop. And God, April. So April is wearing a sweater. And we shot this one day. Now, I also told you that we filmed this in December. It was the last episode before we went on break. And I do believe we came back like a couple weeks later when we got back from hiatus and they realized like we hadn't finished the shot. Well, when she wrapped, she left her sweater in the schoolroom or she left it somewhere, but it wasn't in her trailer. So the day of that morning, we were like, oh, we're going to shoot they're like, hey, we're going to shoot this scene. And we're like, where's the sweater? We couldn't find the sweater. And we did not shoot her close-up yet. And so we're freaking out. We can't find the sweater. And of course, like it's a couple weeks later. You can't just go buy the sweater. It's not there. It doesn't exist in the store anymore. And if it did, it wasn't in the state. It might be in a different store somewhere. And so we were mad scrambling. And we went down into the costume department and we found a gray hoodie. And we brought the gray hoodie and a tiny Polaroid. It was a digital photo that I had taken of April that night when we shot it. And Casey Castlemeyer, who was our on-set painter, scenic artist, painted the stripes in this hoodie to match the gray knit sweater that she was wearing that night. And so I'm not sure. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the image we're seeing right now, which is the wide shot, is her wearing the hoodie that we had to replace because this shot was added later. And when we see her with Luke, she's wearing the real sweater. But it's like mud, but chocolatey. That's my scarf. That little blue scarf that Sally Struthers is wearing. Oh, and it looks like she has a little tiny button on the scarf. That's a button I put on there. I don't know why. I just did it somewhere. I think I have it in my closet somewhere. Yeah, it was horrible. It was a horrible day. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I don't know. I might, if I do have it, it's this one place in my closet, and I might have also gotten rid of it too. We'll see. We'll see. All of a sudden, I'm suddenly wearing it in a video, you'll know. Okay. Oh, I'm just not sure which shot, but one of the shots. Page News One. So the camera, pausing it, the camera right now is inside Luke's, filming down on them because Luke's is elevated. But also it is using that gimbaled window to be able to use. The whole reason they put that window in there in the first place was to make it easier to film. And they put it on a gimbal so that they could actually change the angle of the camera. Oh, sorry, change the angle of the mirror of the bleh, change the angle of the window so that you wouldn't see the reflections whenever we were filming, which was kind of a big thing. But yeah, the more you know. Hit and play. We will. You don't know. She looks like a Rita. Can you believe Lucas again? You're busy. Go lick the empties. Well, well. What is she reading? A book? Oh my God. That scene alone, if you got to like figure out what the best line is, I don't know. Okay. This is the real sweater. This closer shot is the real sweater. Um, yeah. At least the close-up's the real sweater, not the faraway sweater that April is wearing. That's the real sweater. It's from Gap. Yeah, that sucked. We lost it. Never found it either. Never ever found it. Uh, Someone probably picked it up, probably put in, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It sucks. Okay, hit and play. Do, 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 da, 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 da. That's from something. It's a lot in this episode. Pausing it. Rory is at the phone. We are at 25:54 if you need to catch up. She's on the phone. Devin is still playing with his little yo-yo. Okay, we're hitting play. Black. Give us a bit of an extension. One hour. You have a slightly inappropriate Christmas card coming your way. Punxsutawney Phil. Logan's here. He types 90 words a minute. They're in the bedroom. Geometry for dummies. I think there were definitely people that slept on that bed at lunch. I'd sleep in the costume trailer. Sorry. Water break. They're back at the paper. 10 minutes. We'll make it. Yes, poor Lorelai. Smith. The exciting episode. Woo! Paris. So we had to like, unpaused it. When she comes out, we had to kind of like make her very disheveled, which is hard with that outfit. It was like, okay, well, I mean, I could pull this out and kind of take this off a shoulder. It's just such a silly dishevelment, but that's what we had to do. Playing it. What a rush. Do you see Rory's coat on the back of that chair? I put that there. And if I didn't put that there, she put that there in the scene, but I told her where to put it. We figured it out. We always ask, like, hey, director, where should we put these coats? And that's where we put it. Now, the windows that are right there look out to that courtyard, the one that they passed several times in this episode. Sorry, I don't mean to be yawning. Are you yawning? Ooh, they're right outside the Gilmore mansion. Pausing in the middle of the tiled walkway. The scarf again, the one that Rory's wearing. Do you see how like the only way that you could put that scarf was like flat because the like painted parts of that scarf were so stiff that it didn't want to like move or fold or it just it's such a weird scarf. It's pretty, but it was such an awkward like thing. I don't know. The person that designed it, beautiful job, just awkward function. Okay, pressing play. Rush toward the enchanted French doors, but the queen had never been happy. Cowherderess. Oh, look at that beautiful bow and that maid outfit. We had a lot. By this point in time, we had a lot of maid outfits, but in the beginning, we only had one, two, something like that. One. But we only had one collar until we had to make more maid uniforms. Awkward. Pausing. So the fireplace that you see behind the girls, we're on stage. These stage do not vent outside. That fireplace is slowly putting fumes all around the set It was horrible. My throat is closing up right now. Just the thought of any time we had the fireplaces going, they were so horrible. It would just like the smoke would just vent up to the ceiling, which was just the rafters of the stage. And we would just be like, oh God, we got to use the fireplace. I mean, it looks pretty, but when you see the fireplace, that's what I think of when I see the fireplace. Anyways, the more fun facts, things that you probably wouldn't think of when you're watching the show. Okay, we're hitting play again. They're sitting down. Rory, Ed has a tiny fleck on the back of his jacket, which I see now. And I wish I had seen it back then. It was my job to remove that fleck, but the fleck is a fleck of snow from the set because we're filming, it's winter. These little tiny particles of snow would drift in, especially like with Kelly, like opening the door or anybody walking in. But yeah, it could have gotten on the couch when he was sitting and then he gets up. But oh my God, so annoying. She's walking through. She closes the door. Everybody is so weird. Awkward. New ice. Moonscapes. In a scarf and a little shawl. 40-degree weather. Which is funny because wouldn't it be 30 if there was snow on the ground? Otherwise, wouldn't it have melted? Not being allowed to clean myself. It is a great scene. Cahoots. Stop. It's like watching theater, this scene. Now the shaky camera. Only children are always spoiled. Pausing it. So this is filmed on a steady camera, but normally the steady camera is, or was it filmed handheld? I think it was filmed handheld, but he's so low. There's something going on with this. I have to ask Steve. See, if it were a steady cam, he still could probably control it. But initially it felt like it was on, unless he's on the rolly chair. I'm going to have to ask Steve. Steve was our camera operator and steady camera guy. But it feels very much like it's on top of his shoulder, handheld, because they did all the whipping back and forth. But because they walk around, it feels like they're still in that same. We're into the other shot now, where it's like the wide shot of them and Richard's drinking the drink. What do you think of this episode? It's a fun episode. It's a really fun that they got a chance to like do something a little bit different. But the reason is that this episode was directed by Kenny Ortega, who was pretty much allowed to do whatever Kenny Ortega wanted to do. He's probably the only person on the show that could be as creative as he was, because they did trust him. Everything else sort of had to fit within a specific thing. Okay, we're hitting play again. I don't remember that. No. What? Lorelai's reenacting everything. End scene. This is really good sorbet. Ooh, passion fruits. I have some passion fruit sorbet. Buying the airplane. This is probably the best. Look at their shoes on the ground. I love how they're reenacting the line. We're now into the living room again. I'm not quitting. Oh, yes, you are. So, how's Luke? I love the sound of the clock ticking. Tick, tick. Okay, they're finally exiting the house. Well, they look like they've gone through hell. Dinners. Yep. And scene. Guys, thank you for joining me on an episode. We're going to go through the credits before we got... oh, sorry. Wait a second. We're going to watch the credits, but apparently I forgot to hit the credits, so we're going to hit the credits again and watch the credits. But we're watching them. Hold on, we're starting it. Amy Sherman Palladino, obviously. Well, I guess we officially stated Friday night dinners. They leave, and we got Amy Sherman Palladino, executive producer. We all know what she does. David Glaser, he was our associate producer. If I'm not mistaken, I think he worked with post-production. I could be wrong on that. I don't really know most. Sam Phillips, of course, is the one responsible for all the la-las and the music and designing music for the show. We've got the Where You Lead by Carole King, Louise Goffin, words and music by Carole King and Tony Stern, produced by Greg Wells and Carole King. Unit production manager, Dennis Judd. So he was the one responsible for the crew. So anytime we had like budgetary stuff, the hours the crew was working, things, that's the person we would talk to. Our first assistant director is Sean Kavanaugh. We had two first ADs. They would alternate, but throughout the years, we actually had other ADs that were first ADs. We had Carla, we had Sean, we had a girl named Valerie Finkel, and we also had a guy named James Moran. And they would alternate with Sean was there the entire time. Carla left after she had a stroke, and then she came back and became the UPM at one point in time. And then she left, I think, after a season. But yeah. And then we have Andrew Ward, who was our second AD. He wasn't there that long, but he was there for a little bit. We got Jamie Rudofsky and Mark Casey, who is our casting directors. And we've got Rona Benson, Scott Ward. Rona Benson was Joni. Scott Ward was Man. Which one was Man? And Pamela Hamill, who was Lady. I'm trying to remember who those guys were. But anyways, good job. Let's see who else. Mia, they might have been at the flower shop, maybe. Mio Takata was the flower vendor. We have Danny Pudi, who is one of the Yale Daily News, who later went on to do Community. Oh my God. It was crazy. He was really nice, really fun to work with. And then Kathleen Emmer Mueller was the maid. Brenda Mabin was our costume designer. My boss, Brenda Mabin. Set decorator was Melissa M. Levander. She was there for a short period of time. I remember her. Okay, we've got Tim Caparelli was our prop master. He has since passed away. He was only there for a short period of time. He kind of filled in for Pola when Pola wasn't there. And then eventually another prop master came in named Rhonda Robinson. And there was a prop master before Pola, but I didn't work with them. I think if I did work with them, I only worked with them one episode. And then we got makeup artist Ann Masterson, hairstylist David Blair. The makeup and hair department switched quite often. They would usually do like a season or 2 seasons, and then some other department would come in. It was a hard job, dealing with actors and the time frame and other shows that would probably pay them more. They finally just left to go do another show. Okay, we're going on. We have the last frame of the crew. We've got Dan Church. His name will always be on there, production sound. And then this spot right here, you always want to pay attention to it because it tells you the other people that are on the show. And this particular episode, they're crediting Mike Patovich, who was our transportation coordinator, and Keith O'Brien, who was our transportation captain. And Keith passed away a few years ago. Remember when he passed away? But Mike Patovich was he played the driver. He was Emily and Richard's driver. And he's also the infamous hand, shoulder, arm in Rory's car. But yeah, he was the head of department and would often be driving some of the cars that were on screen. And let's see, I think there's probably one or two more frames. We got our music editor, Adrian Van Velsen, and supervising sound editor, Mark Raylia. Now, I never met any of these guys because these people worked in post. They never visited the set. And when I say they worked in post, they weren't even in our post-production office. They might have been. I just never went that way. I went to the editing bay, but I never went there. And then we had re-recording mixers, Tim Philbin, Brian R. Harmon, CAS, and video production services by Level 3. Anyways, friends, I didn't meet those guys either, but I did meet most of the cast and crew that worked on the show. Anyways, if you love Gilmore Girls, please give me a follow. And if you love this kind of thing and you want me to do more, please leave me a comment. Leave me a comment if you want to send me a sticker with money. I can get that kind, but I'm trying to get more monetization hours. I could really use your help. If you could put on the playlist that is attached to this video, which is Gilmore Girls long form, watch the full episode, watch everything that's in there, let it play while you're hanging out or doing something, or even when you go to the grocery store, because I need some watch hours and I really do appreciate it. Anyways, bye. We'll talk to you later. And I'm hitting that button.